Vingroup is a very big and powerful company in Vietnam. Its name is known by almost everyone in the country. You can find Vingroup everywhere, from tall buildings in the city centers to holiday places by the sea. The company builds many homes and apartments under the name Vin Homes. It has shopping centers called Vincom. It runs hotels and parks named Vinpearl. Vingroup also has schools, Vinschool, hospitals, Vinmec, and even makes cars, Vinfast. It is involved in many parts of Vietnamese life. For a long time, Vingroup has been seen as a great example of Vietnamese success. It grew very fast. Its founder, Pham Nhat Vuong, became known as the first Vietnamese billionaire. Many people in Vietnam feel proud of Vingroup. They see it as a symbol of Vietnam's growing economy and future. The public image of Vingroup is very positive. It looks strong and successful. But is the picture always true? Is everything as good as it seems? Some people believe there are hidden problems and questions about how Vingroup operates. They think the company's fast growth might have come with costs that are not often talked about. There are whispers and reports that suggest not all of Vingroup's actions have been fair or good for everyone. Concerns have been raised about different areas of Vingroup's work. For example, some people worry about the effect of Vingroup's large building projects on nature and the environment. Others have concerns about how the company gets land for its projects and what happens to the people who live there. There are also questions about Vingroup's connections with the government and whether these connections give the company unfair help. This book will look closely at these concerns. It will go beyond the shiny public image to explore the story behind Vingroup's rise. We will ask important questions. How did Vingroup become so dominant in so many different businesses? Was it simply through hard work and smart ideas, or did other factors play a big role? We will investigate different parts of the company's history and its current work to understand how this large empire was truly built. Understanding the full story of Vingroup is important because it affects many people in Vietnam and even in other countries. This introduction begins our journey to explore the less visible parts of Vingroup's success and the controversies that surround this powerful company. 2. The start of Vingroup. Pham Nhat Vuong studied in Russia in the past. This was when the Soviet Union had just finished. The economy was not stable, but Vuong saw a chance for business. He started a small company there. His first product was instant noodles. This was a simple start for him. Later, many people saw this noodle business as the beginning of a big success story for a Vietnamese person. After some years, in the late 1990s, Pham Nhat Vuong came back to Vietnam. At that time, Vietnam was starting to open up more to the world. Many people were building new things, like houses, offices, and shopping areas. There was a lot of development happening across the country. Vung decided to enter the real estate business. This means building and selling houses, apartments, offices, and other properties. He started with large-scale projects. His company grew very quickly, faster than almost any other company in Vietnam. It did not just stay in real estate. The company began to start businesses in many different areas of life in Vietnam. It built large residential areas with modern homes and tall apartment buildings, known as Vinhomes projects. It opened big shopping centers and many smaller retail stores across cities for shopping. The company also built luxury hotels and resorts in beautiful places for tourism and holidays under the name Vinpearl. But the growth did not stop there. Vingroup also started businesses that helped people with their health, creating a network of hospitals called Vinmec. It built high-quality schools for children and young people, known as VinSchool. The company even started a major car manufacturing business called VinFast, making electric cars and motorbikes. It also tried to make technology products like smartphones and other smart devices called VinSmart. This kind of growth, going into so many different types of businesses so fast and becoming a leader in each, is very unusual. It all happened in about 20 years, from the late 90s to around 2020. Because the company grew so incredibly fast and entered so many important markets quickly, it made many people think and ask questions. How could one company become so big and powerful in so many different areas in such a short time? Was its business plan simply much better than others? Or did it get special help or advantages that other companies did not have? The speed and size of Vingroup's expansion raised questions about the methods and reasons behind building its large business empire so fast in Vietnam. Its rapid rise was different from the usual path of other businesses in the country. 3. Hurting our world. Vingroup builds many big projects in Vietnam. Sometimes these projects hurt nature. One example is a plan in a place called Con Gio. This area has a very important forest of special trees called mangroves. These trees help protect the big city of Ho Chi Minh City from storms and bad weather. Vingroup has a very big plan to build many things there. This plan needs a lot of sand. Taking so much sand can damage the mangrove forest. It can change how the water moves and where soil stays. This hurts the trees. Dr. Marie Arnaud, who studies this area, worries a lot about the plan. She says it will hurt the forest very much. Vingroup also built many resorts on Phu Quoc Island. These buildings have also caused problems for nature near the sea. People saw the building damaged the beaches and nature there. It seems Vingroup often gets permission for its building plans very quickly. This happens even when many people are worried about nature being hurt. People who work to protect nature or experts who talk about these problems sometimes face pressure. They are bothered or told to stop talking about the damage to the environment. This makes it hard for people to speak out when they see nature is being hurt by these large building projects. 4. Problems for people. Vingroup grew very fast, but this growth sometimes brought problems for ordinary people. To build many big projects like homes, shops, and hotels, the company needed a lot of land. Often, this land was already home to families or used by farmers. So Vingroup had to get this land. Getting the land was not always easy or fair for the people living there. There were stories and reports about issues with this process. Sometimes people felt they did not get enough money for their land, or the way it was taken was not right. This meant families lost their homes or their farms. It was a difficult time for them. Problems were not just about land. People who worked for Vingroup also faced difficulties. Some workers shared their experiences. They talked about a working environment that was not good. They felt their managers were not helpful or kind. Some said colleagues were rude. People worried about losing their jobs easily. They felt they were treated unfairly at work. One specific problem for workers was pressure to buy things from the company. Reports showed that Vingroup employees were sometimes asked or pushed to buy products made by Vingroup, like VinFast cars or VinSmart phones. This put extra financial stress on workers. So, while Vingroup built many big and beautiful places, its growth had a cost for some people. It created issues with land for local communities and challenges for its own employees. These problems were not always easy to see from the outside, but they were real for the people involved. 5. The car company. Vingroup also started a car company. It is called VinFast. This company makes electric cars. Vingroup wanted VinFast to be like Tesla, a famous car company in other countries. Many people watched VinFast because it was Vietnam's first car brand with big goals. But VinFast had problems. One big problem was safety. The cars had issues. The company had to call cars back to fix things. This is called a recall. They recalled cars in the United States because of software problems. These problems could make the screen in the car stop working. This screen shows important information to the driver. Later, they also recalled cars for airbags that might not work right. Someone who used to work for VinFast spoke out. This person is called a whistleblower. He said there were bad designs in the cars. He talked about parts like the suspension. He said these parts were not strong enough and could break. He was worried about safety. This worker lost his job after he talked about the problems. VinFast also had money problems. The company lost a lot of money. People also questioned the number of cars sold. Reports showed that many VinFast cars were sold to other companies that are part of Vingroup. This means the company was selling cars to itself, not to normal customers. This made the sales numbers look better than they were. Vingroup said VinFast cars are good for nature because they are electric. But some people are not sure about this. Making the cars and getting the power to charge them might still hurt the environment in different ways. So, the idea that VinFast is very green might not be completely true. All these problems with safety, money, and sales made people wonder, was VinFast really a success? Or was it another part of Vingroup that faced big difficulties? 6. Too much power. Vingroup has very strong connections with the government in Vietnam. These connections are very important for the company's success. Some people think this relationship is not just normal business discussion. It looks like Vingroup has a lot of special power or influence with the government. This special power might help the company grow faster and easier than other businesses. One clear example of Vingroup's possible power was seen with a big plan for a train line. Vietnam wants to build a high-speed railway across the country. This project would cost many billions of dollars, maybe $61 billion in total. Vingroup made a suggestion to the government. Their plan suggested that a new company started by Vingroup could build and control this very big railway. But they asked the state to pay for most of the cost, maybe 80% of the total money needed. They also wanted special rights. They asked to be the only company allowed to build houses, shops, and other buildings on the land next to the railway for many years. They even asked if they could use the government's loan money for other parts of their business activities. When people in Vietnam heard about this plan, many were surprised and worried. There was a lot of public discussion, and some people spoke against the idea. But very soon after the news came out, it started to disappear. News stories about Vingroup's railway plan were taken down from websites. Links to articles stopped working. It became hard to find information about it in the news media. This sudden silence showed how Vingroup might control what news is reported in the country. It is rare to see negative stories about Vingroup in the media in Vietnam. This suggests the company has power to stop bad news or criticism from spreading. Vingroup also seems to get special help from the government for its building projects. When they want to buy land or start building big places like resorts or homes, they often get approval very quickly. This happens even when people worry about the environment or if families might have to move from their homes. Rules that other companies must follow carefully seem easier or faster for Vingroup. Their projects often get approved fast, faster than perhaps should happen. This special help means Vingroup can build and expand very fast across many areas. VinFast, which makes electric cars, also gets support from the government. The state helps VinFast with rules for cars and helps them build places where people can charge their electric vehicles. Other car companies from different countries, like BYD from China, found it hard to get the same help when they wanted to start selling cars in Vietnam. This special treatment for VinFast gives it an advantage in the market. This kind of help raises questions about fair business practices in Vietnam. 7. Not playing fair. Vingroup wanted to be number one in many parts of Vietnam's economy. Its plan was not just to compete with other companies. It wanted to be so big and powerful that it controlled whole markets. Think about shopping. Vingroup opened many Vinmart stores all over the country. These stores grew very fast and made it hard for smaller, local shops to stay in business. They could not fight against such a big company. In healthcare, Vingroup has expensive hospitals called Vinmec. These hospitals are good, but they cost a lot. Only rich people can go there, creating two different levels of healthcare. Vingroup also has schools called VinSchools. They say these schools offer a high level of education, like international schools. But the cost is very high. Most Vietnamese families cannot afford to send their children to VinSchools. This shows how Vingroup makes it hard for others to compete or access services. The car business is another example. Vingroup started VinFast to make cars. VinFast received a lot of special help from the government. It got good deals on land and help building places to charge electric cars. Other car companies that wanted to sell cars in Vietnam did not get this help. It was difficult for them to build charging stations or open stores easily. This special treatment for VinFast made it difficult for other companies to compete fairly in the market. Vingroup used its connections to get advantages others did not have. But Vingroup's fast growth has also brought problems, especially with money. The company has taken on a lot of debt to pay for all its projects. It owes a lot of money to banks and other lenders. Credit rating agencies like Fitch Ratings and Standard & Poor's look at how safe companies are financially. They looked at Vingroup and became worried about its high debt. They said the company was taking big financial risks. A lot of this risk comes from the VinFast car business, which has lost a lot of money. VinFast lost over $1 billion in just 3 months at the end of one recent year. This large debt and the losses from VinFast are a big worry for the future of the whole Vingroup company. Vingroup is trying to sell VinFast cars in other countries, like the United States. When companies go to new countries, they face new rules and different ways of doing business. In places like the United States, the media is more free. People can speak out more easily. VinFast has faced difficulties in the United States. There were reports about quality problems with the cars. People sued the company. These problems received a lot of attention in the news. This showed that the methods Vingroup used to succeed in Vietnam, like getting special help and avoiding negative news, did not work as well in countries with stronger rules and a free press. The company faced more checks and had to answer questions publicly, which was different from how it often worked in Vietnam. 8. What happens next? Vingroup's path might get harder now. There are signs that the way the company does business is facing trouble. People are starting to feel unhappy, and there is growing public anger. For example, many people did not like the big plan for the high-speed railway. They were also unhappy when news about this plan quickly disappeared from newspapers. This showed how much power the company might have. There are also more checks on Vingroup from outside Vietnam. VinFast is facing problems in other countries, like the United States. There have been car recalls because of technical issues. Officials in other countries are looking closely at the company's business. This international attention is new and puts pressure on Vingroup. Financially, Vingroup is having difficulties too. The company is spending a lot of money, especially on VinFast. It is losing a lot of money and has a very large debt. Some financial experts are worried that this much debt is dangerous for the company's future and for the economy. More people in Vietnam are starting to talk openly about the real cost of Vingroup's success. They talk about how big projects hurt nature, like important mangrove forests that protect cities from storms. They talk about how land is taken from ordinary people. They mention pressure on workers, like being asked to buy company products. People who speak up about these problems are becoming more visible and vocal, even though it can be risky. They want more transparency and accountability from the company and the government. Vietnam's economy is changing. To grow well in the future, it needs fair rules for all businesses, not just special treatment for one. It needs real competition so that new ideas and small companies can also grow. Vingroup's old way of growing very big, very fast, with help from connections, might not work as well anymore in a more open and fair market. The cost of Vingroup's empire has been high for Vietnam. It includes damage to the environment, unfair treatment of people, and possibly using public money to help the company. Moving forward, Vietnam needs business that benefits everyone. It needs strong rules to protect nature and people's rights. Companies need to compete based on quality and price, not just influence. The future for Vingroup and for Vietnam's business world is not certain. Can Vingroup change how it operates and become more fair and transparent? Will Vietnam create a truly fair system for all businesses? These are important questions for the country's future and its place in the world. The recent problems and public reactions suggest that change may be necessary for Vingroup to succeed in the long term. What do you think is the biggest challenge Vingroup faces today?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.